Alright, driver side shock on an E150. Everybody will be like, oh, you got to go up here through where your speedometer cable goes through the floor and get a wrench on it. And anyways, this is how a guy from a Ford dealership takes a shock off an E150. The trick is you got to disconnect the lower shock from the shock mount. And literally, if you take one bolt out of the coil spring, that will let this axle fall down enough where you can then push the shock around the bottom coil mount and get it at about 9 o'clock. When you're at about 9 o'clock, now you got a wrench up here that where the shock is just at the right angle that will allow you to go way back in there and get about a quarter of a turn on that. Now I would show you me doing it, but look. It's kind of hard to do one-handed because you do kind of have to feel around. So you got from there all the way up to about right here space. About a quarter of a turn, might be slightly more, might be slightly less. But no, you don't have to go through there in order to get to it. You don't have to have any special tools. All you got to do is take one extra bolt out and let your coil spring drop down. And it does help to move the coil spring out of the way, which I did. But if you're that far along, if you got the bottom of the shock off and that bolt out, might as well take the coil spring out anyways, because it just makes it easier. Yeah, so I had a deja vu moment while I was removing this shock. So, you know, going back to what I was saying, you can get a wrench on there. You pull the shock up like I showed you in the previous video. But after you get 2 or 3 turns on it, then you put the shock back kind of in the original position. And if you shove it that way, then you can get a ratchet on the top and take it out with a ratchet. Look how much play I got now. This is the driver's side. So all you people that say it can't be done, you just got to use some ingenuity. Now another option is, if you don't want to go that route or any of the 2 routes I already just showed you, get your wrench on the top, get it to lock up against this. So get it on the nut, get it to lock up against that, then take you a larger wrench down here and just bend this nut that I've actually got vice grips on to hold it in place for this ratchet. So y'all just, it's really not that hard to take these shocks out. It literally takes 5 or 10 minutes on the driver's side. You just got to know what you're doing. So hope you find this helpful. That's 3 different ways to take this shock out. They all work. Look at this. That's just a standard deep well snap-on socket in a 3/8 drive flex head snap-on ratchet. But the trick was, you have to pull the shock up so the bottom is here in order to get those first turn and a half of that nut off. Then once you get that far, the rest goes easy and quick.